Yes, it was a good week at the food bank. The weather was cooperative. Had a chance to hit Monday's food bank, and the line was out there long. Some people that was there at 12 o'clock. They had their produce that came in from gleaners, and I forgot how it was struck, so I was lucky enough to be among the 50 plus people that got tickets. So the count went up to 50, but the bags was still 50-50 with the meat. But you still got something. And I was lucky enough to get picked out early enough to get something off the sweet table. So, so all for them other maybe 50, 20 people that didn't get picked, they can't get late. I guess you got to leave early now. I'll leave close to 12:30, then that's too late now. So I'll probably leave about 12:15 to make it there at 12:30 to be in a good spot that might get chosen. So that's a maybe. There's a maybe now. Because, like I said, people, they do come out for that food bank. And even though they know they might not get chosen, and then when the weather get warm, they're going to come out even early, but they're willing to wait an hour outside. Coming at around 12 o'clock, they'd be there at 1 o'clock to be there to get a ticket, a raffle ticket. So that was happening with Mondays. Tuesday food bank, I wasn't able to hit both of them. I hit the one nearest to me in the neighborhood at the Samaritan Center at the center. But I don't never have to. I don't hit the church because the church is a little too far to go, especially when the weather's cold. But I might do it this Tuesday. It'll be a long time since I've been to that one. So I might have a Monday, Tuesday. But I doubled up on the Wednesday food bank last week. So I do the Wednesday every other week plus Wednesday once a month. So I had a chance to double up on Wednesday. I did not double up on Thursday in the morning, but I did double up on Thursday in the evening. I did the afternoon and the early afternoon one, then the late afternoon one that you can be runs all the way up to 4 o'clock. So one came around about 1:30. As soon as I left that one, I went to the next one and got the one at 4 o'clock. So I was able to double up Wednesday and Thursday on that once a month food bank in there on a Wednesday and once a month on a Thursday. Then for the bonus was Parkside Village. They hooked me up with a Thursday food bank run by the police officers now. The people the police officers are in the academy. They're the new recruits for the police department. Running jokes with the new recruits now is they offer social media. 2 people got fired this year. 2 police officers got fired this year. And 2 white police officers got fired for being on social media, making derogatory remarks about a police stop they did and somebody that had to get their vehicle towed because their license plate was bold on it. It was expired. And, and they did the walk of shame on them. So by them posting that on the internet, that cost them their job. Then another young lady in the police department just lost her job for hanging out with derelicts. People that is now that have bad intentions. This person selling dope. So hang out with a known dope dealer. So, you're guilty by association with that. So I started to ask one of the recruits, do they know that it's in their best interest not to be on social media and not to be hanging out with no lowlifes? People that you used to grow up with, hung out with before you became a police officer. After you get on the force, you got to change your association around. You can't be associated with the derelicts and people with bad intentions and people that got that criminal mind. So anyway, I was running a joke with the police department. But we got that many food banks done last week. So we was humping and thumping Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. That's 5 days. And 2 food banks on top of that. On 2 different days, I doubled up. So I hit up to about 7 food banks in 5 days. So that's pretty good. Could have added another one on, would have been 8. But I didn't want to hustle up. Now I could have had 2 more on, that would have been 9. So 2 I didn't even try to hustle up for because the weather was still cold in the morning. warm up in the afternoon. So we still got the winter chill in the morning. So anyway, I could have hit that many this week, up to a 9, but I hit 7 instead. So it was more than enough. And more than enough goodies, that's for sure. And I just had some problem with the bike, and with the bike battery. That battery lasts me almost 2 years, but once you plug it in and out a lot of that, with this battery casing it has, these batteries are encased in aluminum casing, and it has a plug-in like you do your cell phone, or like you do some games, where you plug it in, it's a round plug, like you do games, and that's where your charging port is at. Well, after a while, it comes loose. And I had to jiggle it a couple of times to get the connection with the charger. Now I don't connect at all with the charger. So that's where that little default is in that battery, but I can't complain. They got almost 2 years worth of service out that battery. I was been satisfied with 1 year, but once I got past that, coming up on the second year, I got past a year and a half, I was just over impressed. And you get close to 2 years, that's more than what I thought I was going to get out that battery. So that battery served me well. And it came down to a connection for the charger that made it inoperable, not be able to be in use. So you get to have the backup battery. I put my battery in there, and I can see what's the difference that battery wasn't holding the charge as long as this one is. So it's a fresher battery. I got that since last summer, but I didn't use it that much. So when you don't use that much, you don't drain it, and it still holds up. So it has a longer. It got a pretty long shelf life. Excuse me. You know I had to hiccup or something. I always got to do that when I'm talking on the speaker. But anyway, like I said, by me not using that much, I bought it last year. But I started using it, I put it in there, and I was able to make 2 runs. That Thursday without no problem, and made that Wednesday run with no problem. So I had some juice left over. And I've been used to running my juice out. Now this is warm. So, it fits in there different, don't fit on the same style as the other one did, the battery then that ran out, that the charging port is bad on. It fit over there where the water bottle was at, so it fit underneath the seat part, This one fits on a rack, so I fit on my back rack. Because it's a square battery, the other battery was round. But that's why I bought it for, so I could put one on the rack and then one in where the bottle holder goes. Mounted there, that's where it'd be mounted at. So if I did want to run 2 batteries, I'd be able to do it and be discreet about it. But other than that, I still have a problem with the tool I bought for the bike chain part. I'm just snake bitten with that chain. I can't get it going. I got these 2 bikes ready to go, and I just can't get it going. I'm going to have to make that move to the hardware or the Home Depot. Get the screws I need to mount this motor on the one. The one part I bought for the one that it's a freewheel single sprocket that's a freewheel with a brake. That part it don't look the same as it did on the picture. I thought it would fit over the top part of that part I'm taking loose, but it didn't. So I might be stuck with buying a more expensive part. So it seems like I'm going around in circles with this. These bikes right here with the chain. And I even bought some boats off the internet. They looked like they was the right size. They were 2 sizes too small. So I said, here we go. I cannot win for losing. Because they're millimeter boats. They're not standard boats. When you buy stuff overseas, they into that millimeter. We the ones stayed in America with the standard sizes. So it's just hard to match parts up from overseas with the bicycle part, with the boats. That's a little something I didn't know. I'm learning as I go with these boats. Because they overseas, most countries overseas use the metric system, where we in America are still using the standard system. So we're still outdated with that. Remember when I was growing up, the metric system was supposed to win next worldwide. But they just didn't want to change over. We had to change some of the machinery over. But you get so much that made overseas now. Well, to me, they would be able to do that. But now, it's almost like a specialty item. Most hardware, they don't stock it. They don't sell enough for them to stock it. So I understand that. But I'll endeavor to persevere. I'm going to get it done this week. One of them, at least the boats. If I have to go to that hardware out there in Grosse Pointe Park, outside of Detroit. I'm going to go to Home Depot. I'm going to get it done because we got some good weather days coming up, especially Tuesday and Wednesday. Don't want to make that road trip, but I just might have to make that road trip to make it happen. Anyway, that's what's happening so far this month. I had a bad incident with the bike. I went to a meeting for the garden club. I rode my bike down Connors to the meeting place. It's a non-profit building. So on the way back, it ran late because they was running late from the start to finish. So by the time they run late, it's around about 8:30. I'm coming through there, Connors, around where Warren is at. And I see these young homies out there hanging out in front of the shopping center. And they're inside the parking lot. So one of them see me zooming by, so I looked around. I kept an eye on them. I'm being aware of you got to be aware of your surroundings all the time, especially when you're riding a bike at night. And I always know my target being elderly on the bike now. There's one, instead of them talking stuff like they've been doing, he's going to run up on me and talk stuff. You know what I'm saying? And he called me out my name and stuff, and tried to throw something out my way. But he didn't catch up with me. He was fronting. But he was close enough that we could have did something. I eyeballed him. Close enough, but I was doing about 20, 25, so I was rolling, so he had to run up on me. Catch up with me and talk that yang. But that one was a little bit more aggressive than before. So you got to be aware of your surroundings all the time. And I know that it don't take but a minute to have a bad incident where somebody might snatch you for this bike. Bike worth about $500. If I had to replace it new, $500, $600. And that's just enough for somebody to want to take it from me. So hopefully this is not a sign of bad things to happen. This may be my second incident this year rather, with these young thugs, these young hoodlums. They want to, be in that, they get in that crowd mentality. When you in the crowd, you feel like you bad. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they smoking or what. But he was no more than about 13 or 14. So he's a youngster. But if I had stopped and got a whole lot of stuff started with him, there was about 4 or 5 of them. It wouldn't have been to my advantage. Sometimes you just got to ride away and let it go. But we'll see what happens next time I roll by that way. I'll be looking out for him. That's for sure. But, you don't want to carry your gun and try to have to shoot somebody over materialistic things like a bike. But sometimes it make you want to do that. But then you shoot somebody, then you got more to pay on the other end. But you want to always defend yourself because you want to stand your ground with a person. But you got to be careful. So we'll see what happens. It seems to happen every year. They ain't that I get a near miss with a car or get cussed out from the car window. Somebody tell me get out the street, get off the road. So, everybody don't welcome you with riding a bike. It ain't always glory, Been blessed I ain't had no flat tire lately. That's my truly blessing, and I ain't had nobody knock me off the bike. So I count my blessings. I ain't got hit by no car or truck or vehicle. So I count my blessings on that. So that's how it goes down. I remember when I was at the Food Bank Monday, about a couple of weeks ago. This one guy said he driving. He said he looked over at some homeboys, young homeboys, and they told him what the F was he looking at. MFer, shoot you. And he said he just had to laugh. Because everybody got that mentality of trying to, put some fear in somebody's life because they think they're bad because they're young. And I forgot how it is to be young and dumb like that. He's called it young and dumb and full of cum. And he just had to laugh. He said, I just had to laugh to listen to them young mother hubbards talking that yang to him. And all he did was look over him. They asked him, what you looking at? If you looking at me, I'll shoot you. So he had to just laugh. So this ain't not happen when you're riding a bike, but when you're in a vehicle. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a matter of respect. I wasn't like that. I ain't run with that gang stuff. Some people, they got that sense of need to be in a gang, to embolden themselves. But I wasn't like that. I taught my stuff, but I wasn't like that with that gang. But that was years ago, so it might have been like that with some situation, never know. But I taught my stuff, but that's normally when I was drinking. But they be getting high with that weed. You ride by a car now, I'll be on my bike, I smell that weed all day long. Coming out them vehicles. Yeah, you can tell when somebody been smoking, that vehicle be smelling like it'll be smelling loud from that weed smoking. You have it stinking out, it be stinking up enough that it's just like having an open bottle of liquor or liquor on your breath. Police pull you over, they got you. Then you got to ask you twice if you've been smoking because it's going to be pretty obvious. But you don't smell like it. But that's for the next generation to figure out because the weed is illegal for the medical use of it as well as the recreation use of it at home. They don't know that only in the vehicle that they are illegal with it. It goes from being legal to illegal when you're traveling with it. But that's how it goes. You got to make the adjustment. Same thing with drinking. Drinking was a bad thing, but people drinking, driving, getting killed each other. But you be drunk driving. Now you're high and drunk driving. So that's a heck of a combination. So we're looking forward to having an average week. This week, this will be the first of the month. Coming up in March. So I ain't looking to do too many moves. I'll do about 3, maybe 4 this week. Pool banks. Hopefully get the other vehicle going with the chain. So I get a chance to ride that. And then it'll be time to hopefully buy another battery. So you can open up and fix that connection for the charger. That battery still got a little life left in it. And it won't have a long distance to go in it, but I could still use it. But that's the way that goes. It's all about them connections with electric bikes. Once that connection break off, you know, that you call it short. Once you have a short with an electric bike, you ain't got nothing. The guy down the block from me got his electric bike, and he riding it manually now, because he can't figure out where the short is at. And he had the one he paid $600 to fold up. So he had the pretty looking one, but it got a short in it. So you got to do the process elimination. You got to go from the battery to the controller to the throttle. You know it's not the motor because the motor engages, but it's one of them 3. If it's a connection for the battery, it could be the same thing like my connection, where it got weak in there. The part because he got a battery encased too, and when you plug it in, if you can wiggle it, that means it's weak. If you can't wiggle it, that's stiff, that's a good connection. But if you can wiggle it, that's a loose connection, and you got to solder that connection back together. Or buy another battery. So you got to start doing the process elimination. Tell them to start with the controller. It might be short there, or the throttle. I should have told them to start with the throttle. But you got them 3 things to do. Get your second controller so you can match up the wires. Get your second throttle so you can match them wires up. That's the hardest part about buying that stuff from overseas. You got to guess at it because you can't see it. Nobody's stocking it. You got to guess at it by way of pictures and see how your wires match up. And they're not always true to color code. And then if not, it's probably a connection that is battery. If you got the same problem with at the connection part with his battery, then that'd be the same problem I have. And then you have to replace that battery. So you got some things to replace, but they'd be on the low end. So, that one thing electric bike is good for not putting gas in and charging up the battery, but it's also good for having a short. That's the other catch-22 with electric bike. You can easily get a short. So anyway, that's what's happening. And we are going to holler at you later, Gator, and we will talk to you much, much later.